Timber is a wooden roller coaster at Walibi Rhone Alps, and do not be fooled by this ride's smaller stature. This is a deceptively wild ride with some great airtime. So much so that this has a strong case as the best small-scale Gravity Group creation. I will explain why in this review. Compagnie des Alpes purchased Walibi Rhone Alps in 2006. For the following decade, the park received minimal investments. But starting in 2016, the park kicked off a decade-long €25 million investment plan. This involved a full retheme of the park and multiple new coasters. The first new coaster as part of this plan was Timber. This was added in 2016 and was the park's first new roller coaster in 14 years. Their last coaster was the Wild Mouse located next door. Timber was built by the Gravity Group. This was the first small-scale Gravity Group coaster added to mainland Europe. It was just the third wood coaster in France at the time, but just 2 years later, Parc St. Paul would add a similar coaster in Wood Express. Timber was added to the park's newly formed Explorer Adventure area, and the ride looks great. It is in a woodsy section of the park, so the brown structure fits right on in. Then the ride makes one heck of a first impression. The ride's entrance is right in front of the first drop, and whenever a train crests it, you hear a lumberjack loudly yell, I love that bit of audio. I also like the upbeat music that plays in the station and accompanies a dispatch. I also need to give credit to the lead car. It looks amazing. There's a buzzsaw in front that is freely able to rotate as the train moves along the layout. Timber typically has one of the longest waits at the park. The ride routinely has a 30 to 45 minute wait day after day, if not more. But there are 3 ways to avoid a lengthy wait. 1. Head here first thing in the morning. Since it is a bit of a ways from the main entrance, you can usually get a few laps in with no wait if you go there first. 2. Utilize the single rider line. Even when this coaster had a decent wait in the afternoon, this was a walk-on. This splits off from the main queue. 3. Purchase a fast pass. You board from the exit, often boarding the next train with your choice of seat. When you reach the station, you are assigned a row. But if you ask nicely, the staff members are happy to take row requests or allow you to wait an extra train if the seat you want is already occupied. The back was my favorite row, but all seats deliver really nice airtime. The lengthy queues are not the fault of the ride attendants. They check restraints lightning fast. They were typically rolling trains. It certainly helps that all bags and loose articles ride with you in the train. The primary reasons for the long queues are this ride's popularity and the short trains. The park usually runs both trains, but each seats a max of just 12 riders, as they have just 6 rows of 2. As with all the new Gravity Group coasters, this ride utilizes their Timberliner trains. I find these quite comfortable. Then you are restrained by a bulky lap bar that swivels from the side. This can severely hurt the spots of floater airtime if you get stapled, but that was not the norm from my experience. Once the train dispatches, the restraints lock in place and will not come down any further, which is really nice. The ride begins with a 56-foot or 17-meter tall chain lift. Once at the top, you tightly turn right 180 degrees. This leads into the first drop. It is fairly steep for a ride of this size at 59 degrees, and it offers a robust ejector pop in the back row. That is the main reason that is my preferred seat. It is worth knowing you cannot really hear the lumberjack yelling timber on ride. It is more for those in the surrounding area. I also want to note that the pullout has a noticeable shuffle to it, and that's not the last spot that'll shake either. Next is a large bunny hill. This has good floater airtime for all. The exit starts banking left, so if you're in the back rows, you'll get some surprise laterals coming out of it. This leads to a tiny speed hill. This offers a strong ejector pop for all. I think it's the most forceful spot of airtime on the ride. Immediately afterwards, there's a trick track double up. The outward banking does not add too much in my opinion, but it is a fun visual. Now those negative G's deliver though. The first hump is decent floater in front, and weak airtime in the back. The second hump is an awesome head chopper with a camelback later in the ride, and then it delivers even better floater over the top in front. Then the back row gets nice floater on the subsequent drop. This leads into the far turnaround. Rather than being a basic right-hand turn, there is this hump midway through that delivers a good ejector pop for all. You then complete the turn and fly over a small bunny hill. This has a fun head chopper with a prior double up, and it also offers solid flagector airtime for all. You then turn left and have a camelback. The crest is super tight, which yields some sweet ejector airtime. You get a good pop in front, then those in back are bucked into the air on the descent. You then twist right and rise upwards into a double down. The entry offers a solid pop of airtime in front. Those in back have nice floater over the top, but you have to brace yourself. You see, there's a trim break between the two dips. Those in the front rows have already returned to their seat by the time it engages, but those in back are still levitating out of their seat, so it can slam you against the restraint. This trim negates the airtime on the subsequent dip and the rise into the brake run. From what I understand, the ride was running faster than intended, which is why the trim was added. You then slow to a stop and return to the station, ending the 1,464 foot or 446 meter long coaster. It is a short ride, but has plenty of elements. I really want to praise this ride's pacing. It feels significantly faster than its 40 mph or 64 km/h top speed. I think it's a combination of the loud roar this ride makes, the smartly proportioned elements, and the rapid-fire nature. The ride just keeps on throwing one airtime hill after another at you. The only chance you have to catch your breath is when the trim brake engages towards the very end of the ride. In terms of smoothness, timber is not perfect. I mentioned that initial pullout, but the low turns also shake the train a considerable amount. It is similar to what you experience on Rorosaurus at Storyland, if you have ridden that one. This was not a deal breaker for me, because the trains are well padded, but I know this is a bigger issue for others. So, what would I rate Timber? I would give this coaster an 8.5 out of 10. This is a really good wood coaster that transcends its stats. This is an action-packed layout with a great sense of speed. Then these smaller gravity groups always do a great job in the airtime department, but this one exceeded my expectations. There were some really strong airtime pops. You are forcibly launched skywards on several hills. The reasons I docked 1.5 points are for the short duration, disappointing finale, and shaky turns. None of these are giant issues for me, and for the most part, this is an excellent attraction. This is definitely one of the best small-scale gravity groups. The only one I prefer is Rorosaurus, because that is the only one that can beat Timber in the airtime department. I also want to compare this ride to Bobcat at Six Flags Great Escape. This was a new for 2024 coaster that took heavy inspiration from Timber. The layouts are nearly identical except Bobcat omits the speed hill and has a modified finale that does not need a trim brake. Bobcat has a smoother experience because it was built entirely with Gravity Group's vertically stacked pre-cut track, but it is a noticeably tamer experience. Whereas Timber has multiple moments with genuine ejector airtime, Bobcat's airtime stays firmly in the floater range for the duration of the ride. Now that may have been deliberate to make the ride more family friendly, and it is worth noting that Bobcat has a slightly lower height requirement than Timber, and maybe that was part of the reason. I personally prefer the feistier, more forceful ride that Timber offers, but I get why Great Escape and Gravity Group may have made that modification for Bobcat. So those are my thoughts on Timber at Wallaby Roan Alps. What are your thoughts about this coaster? Is it one of your favorite Gravity Groups as well? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos Era Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.